morning, guys. Welcome back to another YouTube video. So today I'm going to take you through a day in the life of a new business owner, actually a gym owner, I could say. Building a gym in Manheim, Pennsylvania, True Build Gym. It's my first ever business, brick and mortar. So I'm going to show you guys the updates with that, what's to come, as well as a training vlog. I still love to train. I still train often, and it's just a necessity to me. So I'll share kind of like the ins and outs of my diet and training recently to maintain everything I do. But just an update too, just to kick off the video. I'm married, which is awesome. We had a good time. Went to like this little campsite. We got eloped. And yeah, it's kind of like a little update to start the vlog. So we just finished up the morning run. We did 5 miles at a 7:48 minute per mile pace. Right now my runs are taking me anywhere between 40 minutes and about an hour at the most. For me, 40 to an hour is like that perfect distance where you're not burnt out, but you also are still getting a good workout. So I can stack days and it doesn't really affect me at that time frame. So after I come back from the run, this is what I always do. I sit here on the stairs and then I'll drink my electrolytes as well as take my protein coffee with me to work, whether that's up at the desk doing client work. For those that don't know, I am a coach. So sometimes I'm doing that in the morning. Other mornings I'm working on gym equipment or working on the actual gym, the brick and mortar building. So today we're going right to work on the piece of equipment that I bought. Hopefully get it fixed. After I fix up that gym equipment, I'll just catch up on work. I probably won't film it because it's me sitting at a desk and it's not fun. Then I'll show you guys the weight training workout and we'll talk about how I maintained my physique for the past decade and basically how simple it is and how easy it is for me because of what I do. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so we are headed over to the garage right now to work on the chest press that I bought for the gym. I got it used again, so yeah. It wasn't assembled. Gonna try and figure it out, fix it up so it's in perfect condition for the gym. But I'll show you guys what exactly it looks like, get on the machine, and yeah, just show you one of my favorite chest pieces to use. So this is the issue I'm running into. There's these bolts here on the inside of the frame that if you tighten bolts on that side and put them in, and this side doesn't go in. So I almost had to take the whole thing apart and rebuild it. I guess this is just part of the process. So we're gonna do that. All right, so figured out what was wrong, took the whole thing apart, realized that one of the pieces was bent. So had to heat it up, bend it back, my dad helped me. And then we put it back together bolt by bolt, loose fitted the machine and then tightened it up to make sure that everything was square. Instead of over tightening one side and then bending the piece again. Then we went back into the gym, ran Cat 5e wire to hang cameras. I'll have about 9 cameras in total. I'll actually have a tailgating system since this is going to be 24/7 access. So that way I can pick up on, you know, any dishonesty there. And it's just not that I don't trust people, but you know, when you have a gym, you want to make sure it's safe, but also people are paying their dues, etc. Since I'm not going to be there 24/7. But hung those cameras, and really now is just time to get some gym floor in there, gym equipment, drywall. I got to build a desk yet, paint, signs, a lot of stuff to do. One thing to keep in note if you ever want to build a gym is 3 things. Permits take longer than expected. 2, you're gonna have to change most likely your plan in terms of how you set up the gym. I would say that is the hardest thing. I thought permits were the hardest. Now I'm finding out that the hardest thing right now is really just trying to figure out where everything's gonna go, what I'm gonna use, where I'm gonna use it, and just make sure everything is crossed off when the doors open. That's like the hardest thing, filling a space the best way possible when you don't have the items, and ordering everything that you need to make the gym the best that you can. So there's a ton of planning in it. And the third thing is really just understanding how the permits and the process flows. You can't just do things sporadically. Everything's in a process. For example, permits are first, and then within that you got to have your electric in, roughed in. You have to have your plumbing roughed in if you have to do that, and then you have to have your drywall hung after all that so the inspections can go through, and then you have to have your flooring, gym equipment, that's last. Lighting is also something that you have to figure out. So there's just a ton that goes into it, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Taking a little longer than I'd like, but I'm trusting the process and just staying as patient as I can and disciplined with following through. So just took my pump and creatine. That has been like my pre-workout cocktail. I'll add in pre-workout, like the actual caffeine, on days where I just feel like I need it. Today I don't feel like I need it, but I do add that. BPN is having 30% off the entire website from July 13th, which is today, to July 15th. So if you guys want to try any of their supplements, or you are a fan of their supplements, right now is just a good time to save some money. Just thought I'd share that to help you guys out if you're interested. But yeah, we're gonna hit this weight training session, and then after, I'm gonna talk about how I set up my diet and how I just stay consistent over the years since I was 16 with training and nutrition. So the workout is complete, and yeah, let's just talk about everything that I've learned in my fitness journey that allows me to maintain my fitness, generally a good lean body composition, and just overall to feel good, have vitality, and to show up as the best person I can each day. It's pretty simple. Nutrition wise, I went through many phases. I tried carnivore when I was young because it was a hot, trendy topic. I didn't know what I was doing. I tried, fasting, like extreme fasting, not extreme, but like eating, basically once a day. That never worked for me either. Everything, low carb, no gluten. Yeah, I tried a lot. None of that worked for me, and most of the time anything extreme like that isn't going to work for you. If it does, keep doing it. But most people will find the truth is somewhere in the middle of any extreme, which for me is just eating healthy, eating a omnivore diet, which consists of fruit, beef, chicken, rice, yogurt, vegetables. Pretty much anything is fair game, but making sure my calories are in track. At the end of the day, that's like what drives performance and body composition. Quality does matter. Calories are calories, but at the end of the day, you get nutrients from certain types of food that provide better performance, better strength outcomes, better recovery outcomes, because you're actually getting things that your body was designed to absorb and intake. And the reason I say that is because I've noticed that the more whole foods I have in my diet, not only is it easier to maintain my physique, more muscle I have, and also just more vitality that I have. And when you start eating processed foods, your body's designed and your mind is designed to love like a combination of something sweet and savory. So these processed foods and big food really just want you to buy more. I don't blame them. If they had a business, they just want you to be a consumer. So they're going to make it taste super good, and you're going to want to eat a lot of it and get addicted to it. So sticking to a whole food diet makes it pretty simple. You'll kind of naturally hit those hunger cues where you're full,
Processed foods, very unlikely, and you just won't feel as good. It doesn't have the vitamins in it. That's kind of the premise of the diet. I do like to eat at specific times, so I'll typically eat my first meal, if you want to call it that, 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning, which is a protein coffee, which is just a scoop of BPN protein in coffee mixed up with a blender. I always get questions how I ask that. You mix the milk and the protein first, then you add the coffee. That shake has 25 to 40 grams of protein, depending if I do a scoop or a scoop and a half. That'll hold me over to like 11 or 12 o'clock, where I'll have my second meal. That second meal is normally a combination of chicken or beef with cottage cheese and some sort of sauce and rice. My third meal is a yogurt bowl, which is just Greek yogurt, fruit, honey, maybe some chocolate chips. That's like my guilty pleasure. And then, maybe bananas and blueberries as the fruit. Dinner is typically another beef bowl. That's normally with potatoes because they're more satiating. They also have more nutrients than rice. I like to have rice at lunch just because it's easier to digest and it doesn't keep me full. I normally train in the evening, so I don't want to be full. That being said, that's why I have potatoes later in the day, because they fill me up more and I like being full before I go to bed. Not full, but you get the point. I don't want to be hungry before I go to bed. So beef potatoes, chicken potatoes with some sort of sauce, maybe some lettuce in there, and I make it just like a bowl that you would get at Cava. And that meal is typically done around 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I won't eat till, that protein shake the next morning. Training wise, this is an interesting one because I've taken fitness to the extreme most of my life. So I'm only learning now the consequences to that it's not necessarily the best idea to always be in a prep. I'm not saying there's no benefit to it. Mentally, it's great, always to have a goal there. But I always say it's really important to be able to train like you have a competition, even though you don't. Like, stay ready. I like to say to myself, stay ready for life, train for life, and just be ready. Be an asset, not a liability. And for me, that just means being able to run and lift, being able to carry loads for a period of time, or run if need be. I don't ever want to be able to say I can't do something physically. So training in a way that pushes me in both those capacities is either running and lifting. Sometimes I'll bike. Most of the times I'll run, but it's a combination of cardio and weight training. But for the past 5 or 6 years of training, I've been really signing up for race after race and doing these insane competitions. For me, insane competitions. And I will say they've provided me a tremendous amount of knowledge and strength and willpower, and I think they are so beneficial. But I don't think that they are something that you should build your whole training regime around. I think you can lead yourself to burnout really fast if that's all you focus on is races. So I think having times of, hey, this is like a dedicated period of time where I'm going to race, and then have a period of time where you bring training volume down and just train to train. Now I'm going to tell you my split. Take it as you want. Everybody's different. As far as the weightlifting goes, I like a push, pull, leg, and chest and back split. So 4 days of lifting. Running wise, right now on like a staying ready type season is like 25 to 30 miles a week. I'm sometimes hitting, I'm probably going to hit 40 here soon, but once I get past 40, it starts to become more of a, hey, I should be signing up for a race at this point, because that's generally when I start to get more fatigued and mileage starts getting pretty high, where I might as well be in a prep. But for me, that's kind of where it starts to feel a little unmanageable long term to hold. So I like that 25 to 30 when I'm not racing. My camera died. Anyways, moral of the story, I see most people fail because they try to make it too complicated. They try to do too much too fast because it's what they see on social media, or something sounds sexy and they want to try it. Moral of the story is, the simpler the better. I eat 3 to 4 times a day. I try to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You've heard this a million times. I'm not telling you anything new, but it works. So I'm not going to try to sell you on something that sounds cool. Then I just prioritize my sleep. I train hard. I train often. I run 5 to 6 days a week. sometimes 4 if I'm, in a crunch. Sometimes I lift 3 days a week, but most of the times 4. But I'm just really consistent with that, and I've been really consistent with that for many, many, many years. And that's why I've been able to do some cool stuff. Not because I'm any more talented than you are behind the screen. It's just I've done it day after day after day, and I've just stacked so many bricks that allowed me to have success for me. So nothing crazy about what I've done in terms of like anybody that can do it. Anybody really can. It just requires consistency. But yeah, I think that's it. That's the TED Talk.